Well, again, Hot Wheels customizers, we got another main line here. This is number 30 of 250, I think, of the 2022. No, well, it says 2017 back here, but I bought this at a store locally in 2022, so I don't know the answer as to why that says 2017 in the back. Anyways, I was looking up 72 Chevy LUV. This LUV means Light Utility Vehicle, it's an acronym. This is obviously customized. And it turns out this is not actually a Chevy, it's rebadged as it's an Isuzu originally. So it's called an Isuzu Faster. And then, Chevy was the distributor in America at the time. So this would be the first generation Chevy Faster, and those were produced between 1972 and 1980. And there are engine choices of 1.6 up to 2 liters, inline fours. The biggest 2-liter was a diesel, actually, but it had less horsepower, like 60, probably a lot more torque. And then the regular gas ones were making around 90 horsepower or something like that. Okay, so it's rear-wheel drive only. Later on, they did have 4-wheel drive, but not in 1972. So, one thing I want to check is the good old dimensions, or the scale. So I pulled up this blue image, long wheelbase versus short wheelbase. If you look at the bed here, I'm going to say this is a short wheelbase, right? There just simply isn't much metal here compared to there. So with the short wheelbase, that would be 2,600 millimeters. And let me get my calipers out and try to measure the wheels base here of the center axles. Alright, around 41.07. I would say it's around 164. I might be measuring a little bit off. It's 163, 164, somewhere around there. So that's very convenient to know if you're into that scale stuff. Now, this is a stock one, so it's kind of hard to envision. This thing is really customized by Hot Wheels, but at least it has 4 headlights. And it's, well, no, the recesses in the bumpers are different. It's got the bow tie, at least. In the bed, it's got this little recess where the hooks would usually be, and it has square tail lights, so that's okay, but it seems to have no rear bumper at all. It does have the 3 side vents though, and it seems to have a little bit of a rain gutter, so that's not too bad. Let me get a pick out and let's see what else we have. This is not a metallic green. It would have been nicer if it was, but it's just a lime green. It's doing a decent job covering up the casting edges. Hot Wheels logo there. I like the 3-color tampo here, very retro. And there's also a molded crease here, and it's quite pronounced by the door. You can see the thickness, but you can see how it tapers off and fades into the end of the cab. So that's really cool. It actually comes down here, so, and then it fades a little bit to the front. So that's really neat. I'm looking at the photograph, and it does do that on the real truck. Alright, the big chrome grille / lights, which is part of the interior piece. I don't think I'm going to be able to get paint into this grille. The ridges are so shallow, I don't think I'm going to pull it off. But I'll try to paint the bow tie at least. And then the whole base is black, so unfortunately it would have been nicer if it was the other way around. If you look at go back to the photo, the grille is black and the bumper is chrome, but Hot Wheels flip-flopped it, which makes me wonder how old this thing is. It's probably been out a while, 2015. So I would have to assume maybe the original ones had chrome bases and maybe a black, or however many times they've put this out now. Obviously staggered wheels there. Big carburetors or something sticking out the hood. I like these little stripes again being repeated on the hood here. That interior is a little bit crazy, being chromed out, but it looks like there's actually seat harnesses, as if it's a racing truck. A very tiny pizza pan steering wheel, and then obviously the chrome coming back here, And we have a fuel cell with a bunch of molded details, part of the casting. Fuel filler door looks alright, and now I'm noticing this silver paint on the raised door handle. Those recesses are good. Huh, didn't even notice that the first time around. The back is totally blank though, as far as paint, no apps, but I should be able to try to add some paint to those lights, but not here. Although these letters are raised, they're not raised enough to be painted easily. There's also some raised hinges here for the tailgate, and then some exhaust tips with actual depressions, at least on half of it, and a license plate. So mold-wise, not bad. There's a little open sunroof as well. And then I'm noticing, like, the casting is pretty good. Like, there's no major gouges or scratches that I very often see. Or there's just a nice, good, even, thick paint on this thing that's covering up all those scratches and gouges. So I would say this is pretty much a perfect Hot Wheels. There isn't much wrong with it. The tampos are generally in the same where they should be. I guess if I was nitpicking, yes, maybe that stripe is not, but whatever. It's a main line. Alright, well, being a Isuzu, I'm going to have to put some JDM wheels on this thing, so I'll be back. So, these wheels here are called American Racing Le Mans wheels, and you might recognize them from some classic Datsun race cars. So, these are 3D prints, of course. The brake system is part of the same wheel, so it would spin, but I mounted this with putty. The reason being is because I would have to drill the base off if I actually wanted to use the axles, because look how far in the tires are. I can't mount the wheels, unless they're actually outside of this fender. So anyways, I'm okay though, because I don't really like rolling models anyways. They just fall off bookshelves and stuff. Some silver paint for the headlights, a little gold Sharpie there. I tried painting these black and then removing the extra paint from the grooves, but it just wouldn't work, so I stripped all the black paint off. I did put a little black up in these little stacks though, but yeah, again, it's so super shiny, paint doesn't want to stick to it. Some paint details there as well. And then this was really hard, actually, trying to paint the 3 taillight colors, and then yeah, I still couldn't get the edges perfect, so well, I did the best I could. I still like this car though. It's a really cool retro color scheme in a really crazy lime green as well. Alright, well, let's look at a couple other models here. I have a few other Hot Wheels and one majorette with some 3D printed wheels, so I'll show these guys off again. So, let's see, I have an old Studebaker. Technically these aren't 3D printed wheels, they're 3D printed hubcaps. I printed hubcaps, 2 different styles, and put each style into each side. And they're supposed to be Studebaker hubcaps. A very early one of my pickups is this 67 Chevy C10, and these are wheels of my own design. They're pretty simple though. And then this Volkswagen Caddy has ATS Cup wheels. I have seen Volkswagens running these types of wheels in the real world, so that's why I put them on the Caddy there. And then this Mazda Ripu has Toyota FJ Cruiser wheels, and I mounted that with putty, so that's why the fronts are steering. And the last one, I have some of my own wheel designs on this Chevy Silverado done by Majorette, and I repainted the interior of that Majorette as well. So that one I did drill apart. Alright, well, I got some custom pickups now. I used to have a Mazda B4000 back in the late 90s, I think it was. It was really just a rebadged Ford Ranger. So I have a little bit of a soft spot for pickups. Alright, let's let this guy spin on its own. So here's some cool images of some custom Chevy LUVs I found. I'm not sure which one I like the most. I think I like this really beat up one with a camper on it. What do you guys like the most? This one's a similar green, a bit rusty. I don't know if that's on purpose or not. And this one's just crazy because it's got a crazy like induction hood. Well, maybe it's not an induction hood, but it looks like there would be a supercharger or something underneath that thing. But it's so low to the ground, it's probably airbagged or something. Alright. Well, another mainline hits the spot for me today. And I guess I'll have to find some other mainlines to modify. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if not, check out a different one. Alright, thanks. See you guys.